Hi guys, and welcome back. Today I'd like to talk about an anatomical structure in the brain called the paracingulate sulcus. Now everybody has a cingulate sulcus, but there are also some people who have an additional sulcus just dorsal to that called the paracingulate sulcus. A researcher named Céline Amier looked at this in a series of papers, and it's been getting some traction recently because a lot of results can depend on whether a subject has the paracingulate sulcus or not. I want to show you a quick example from this Journal of Neuroscience paper back in 2013. So what they did was they identified different subjects who had either a cingulate sulcus, marked in CGS right here, I'll zoom in a little bit, in yellow, and also a paracingulate sulcus. Alright, and that one is in cyan. And as you'll notice, it's not as though everybody has one, and some people only have a paracingulate sulcus in one hemisphere but not the other. They might have it in the left, they might have it in the right, they may have it in both hemispheres, or they may have no paracingulate sulcus. The reason that this is interesting is because when you look at feedback-related activity and possibly other phenomena that are associated with the medial prefrontal cortex, it depends on whether the person has a paracingulate sulcus or not. So here we have on the top panel a subject who does not have a paracingulate sulcus. You place an ROI in the cingulate sulcus and you see a pretty typical pattern of activation for feedback-related activity. But if you look at people who do have a paracingulate sulcus and you place the ROI in the paracingulate sulcus, you see a pretty similar activation profile across different conditions. But in the same person, sorry, I just burped. In the same person, if you place the ROI in the cingulate sulcus, so we take somebody who has a paracingulate sulcus, but extract data from an ROI in the cingulate sulcus, a lot of those effects look a lot different. We can look at this in our own subjects, and this is from a couple of subjects in that KKI data set we talked about a couple of weeks ago. I'm just loading up a couple of subjects and their anatomical images because that can help us identify when a paracingulate sulcus is present. I'm going to load up all three images here. And really what's going to help you the most is both the combination of the coronal image and the sagittal image. So notice that in a lot of the papers, when they talk about the paracingulate sulcus, they look about anywhere from 4 to 8 millimeters to the right or the left of the longitudinal fissure. So you can see in this subject right here, it appears as though they have a paracingulate sulcus somewhere on the left. So you can see right here, if I zoom in a little bit, I'm just going to put this up a little bit more. You can see the cingulate sulcus appears to be right here, and just dorsal to that is the paracingulate sulcus. A good way to identify those is by looking for invaginations in the coronal section. If there appear to be a couple of them, and if you look just a little bit to the anterior commissure, you can see two distinct invaginations right there. Okay. Likewise, if we look on the right in this subject, it does not appear that they have a paracingulate sulcus. There's only one principal cingulate sulcus right here. There doesn't appear to be one analogous to the two running parallel to each other on this image right here. So that's one subject who has only one paracingulate sulcus in the left hemisphere. I'm going to load up another person who does not have a paracingulate sulcus. So this person, again, we're looking a little bit anterior of the anterior commissure. Okay, might be a little bit better to go to about 15, 20 millimeters maybe in front there, and also looking anywhere from 4 to 8 millimeters on either side of the longitudinal fissure. It appears there's only one sulcus on the left, and likewise on the right we see a similar anatomical structure. So look at your own data, because this might be interesting in case you want to categorize people by whether they have a paracingulate sulcus or not. In future tutorials, we'll look at how we can actually carry out analyses, like I'm doing right now, and how you can try to parse apart effects based on whether somebody has a certain anatomical structure or not. It can lead to greater power in some instances because it can lead to less variability if you just classify people according to certain criteria.